Nospisk here and welcome back to the channel. I really hope you enjoyed the showcase of this Vanilla Plus load order, and as requested I'm going to go through these mods and let you know why I chose them, and I'll also finish with my personal settings so you can get your game looking just like mine too. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first mod that we're going to look at today is the unofficial patch. It fixes 90% of the bugs in the original base game, and the majority of mods that I use and yourself will use do require it. Then we have Immersive Sounds Compendium, and what this does is just rework all the sound effects within the game to make them better and more immersive. And then afterwards we have our Immersive Sounds Compendium patch for the Creation Club stuff. And basically what that does is just make sure that all the armor sets within the Creation Club do have sound effects too. Then we've got our Quiet Dungeons and Caves, which just basically makes all dungeons and caves quieter, so it's more immersive. Then we go on to our UI system. So I'm using Nordic UI with Sovngarde. This is just personal preference, I just love the way it looks. If you wanted to use something different, then that's completely fine also. Next we have some Witcher music, followed by a main menu replacer. These aren't actually needed within the load order, they're just here because it's my own personal preference. As we go through the video, I'll let you know what other mods that I have included are here for my own personal preference and you don't actually particularly need. The next mod is Chapter 2, which I'm sure that a lot of you would have already heard of this. It's possibly one of my favourite Skyrim Xbox mods for a Vanilla Plus load order. The soundtracks are just amazing. Next we have a Quality World map, which just makes it a lot cleaner and a lot clearer to read. Then we have Cheat Room, which is a staple in all my load orders, just in case any of the quests bug and I need to teleport from one side of the map to the other really quickly. Then we have Cloaks and Capes, and I have this in every single one of my load orders just because it's so lore friendly and realistic to the current climate within Skyrim, of that harsher and colder environment. Then we have Divergence, followed by Believable Weapons, followed by the improved close-face helmets, better-shaped bows, the Wolf Armor Replacer, Daedric Plate Armor Replacer, the Mirak Armor Replacer, the New Legion Redux, and the Sons of Skyrim to really complete the look that I was going for. Next we have Bandolier, which creates neat little pouches and satchels so that your character can showcase that they're carrying all the goods that they've picked up along the way. Then we have Ened All-in-One, which just makes the Sweet Rolls, Septums, Shields, Banners and Shadow Marks just look a whole lot better. This is followed by Bellyache's HD Collection, which retextures all the creatures in the game just to make them look a bit more realistic. Then we have a Werewolf retexture followed by a Vampire Lord retexture. I have both of these within my load order just simply because you can technically become both within one playthrough. Then we have Ordinator, which redesigns the perk tree and gives you over 400 new perks. Then we have Horse Camera tweaks, followed by Archery tweaks and Refined Artifacts for some minor gameplay improvements. Next we have Dawn, which is our weather mod, and it doesn't just add in a huge amount of weathers, it adds in sounds and particles, and it also adds in birds as well, and honestly I just absolutely love this mod. Next, we're moving into the cosmetic section of the load order. So we'll start with the superior law-friendly hair, which just retextures all vanilla hair to make it look better. Then we have our tempered skins for males and tempered skins for females. And I use these two mods within 90% of my load orders because they're the most realistic and authentic looking skins, considering the current climate and the way that the people of Skyrim are living. Next, we have two Chaos hair packs, which is just personal preference, so that's completely up to you if you want to use them. Then we move to beards, which I've always included this in with every single load order because it just retextures all the beards within the game. Then there's Kaio's banging brows, which makes the eyebrows look a lot better. Dart's hair colours, so that you can have more variation with the hair colours that you can choose. And then Northbourne's scars just makes them look a little bit deeper and actually like scars, which I absolutely love. I've also included Time for War, which is a war paint overall. I absolutely love some of these war paints, which you've seen me showcase some of them within past videos too. Then we have RS Children Optimized, which just makes all the children look better and not look like little gremlins, basically. Then we have the unique saddles of Skyrim, and this just adds in a few extra saddles that look a lot cleaner, a lot more higher definition. Next, within the load order, we're looking at our movement mods, and first on the list is XP32, and we use this mainly for the realistic ragdolls and force. Then we have our 360 walk and run standalone, and this is a mod that I believe should have been in with the vanilla based game anyway. Then we have Busty Skeevers, Very Levy animations, EAD, violence, and some shield on back mods. I believe personally that movement mods are very subjective because you can do so many different things with different mods, different styles of walking or running to different styles of combat, from your one-handed to two-handed variations. So if you wanted to take things out of this section or add things in, then that's completely fine for you to do so. So just to add to the reason why I've chose certain mods, particularly EAD, each attack different, which gives you multiple variations of different attacks that you'll perform when in combat. The reason I chose this is just for the immersion factor. You're not exactly going to fight a skeever the same way you would fight a dragon if this was real life. So I absolutely love that every time that you do fight a different enemy, there's a chance that you're going to pull off whole different formation of attacks and variations of different swinging and lunging, and yeah, I just think it's brilliant. For an extra bit of immersion, I added auto unequip shields to back, plus the back shields and cloaks patch, and if you combine this with visible favorited gear and the belt fastened quivers, you can showcase all your items as you're adventuring around Skyrim, just like I did earlier on in the video. Next we have some more immersive mods, so the cinematic dragon soul absorption. This is followed by double beds for 2 people, which is then followed by wearable lanterns, the wear multiple rings, the visible favorited gear and your belt fasten quivers, which I mentioned previously within the video. Then we have our enhanced blood textures and the add-on to make the colour of the blood darker, and this just increases the amount of blood that's spilled during battle and also makes the blood look better and more realistic. Next is our static mesh improvement mod, and I've only used the essentials within this load order because I didn't want to have too much of a hit on performance and FPS. Then we move on to some retextures, and the first one is Elsopa's quivers, which looks really good, really clean. And then we've also got Elsopa's HD amulets, which look amazing as well. And then you've got the lockpicking interface redone, which gives a lot cleaner, rustic vibe. I've also done the pouches as well because it makes them look a lot more realistic to that current time. The vanilla potions are awful, so I wanted to change them up and make them look a lot more interesting. I've then got the Raz shaders and effects, and this just adds extra effects to the character like cold air and wetness from the sea and bubbles and everything else that you could possibly think of. Afterwards, we're now moving on to our lighting and fire effects. I've always used ELFX just because there's so many patches out there for different city mods that it just makes compatibility a lot easier. Then we've got more gameplay tweaks, which are Wildcat, improved bandits, and elegy. I've also got simple gameplay tweaks, secure combat, and Teos. These are just extra tweaks to the gameplay just to make it a lot smoother and exactly how vanilla Skyrim should have been when it was first made. Then to finalise gameplay tweaks, I've added in Sion and Growl. This is just basically to improve werewolves and vampires throughout the game, so if you do decide to go down either route, you know you're going to have a good time doing so. Next, we move on to our landscape mods. So we're starting off with septentrional landscapes, and we've used quite a lot of the mods within the suggestions of the mod description. So we've gone with blended roads redone, the blended roads bridges, the hyperborean snow, the mossy white run floors, the Dave UFHD Mountains, we've gone with a darker version just because I think it looks a lot better. We've used Northern Shores, and then we've also used the voluptuous grasses, which look amazing with the septentrional lod, which we've got in there too. And to top it off, we've also got the enhanced vanilla trees. And all of these put together give an amazing look with next to hardly any performance hit, which I'm absolutely pleased about. The one thing I almost forgot within the landscape mods was a water mod, and we've used Dawn Waters, which is complemented nicely with the Dawn weather mod that we're using. Next, we're moving on to our towns and cities mod. So we've used JK Skyrim because it doesn't change too much from the vanilla. It just makes it feel a lot more lived in and immersive. Then we've also added in Capital Whiterun expansion, which I believe is vanilla plus, just simply for the fact that Whiterun is a trading capital of the province of Skyrim, so it should be bigger and it should have more people in it, and it should feel like there is a lot more going on than the vanilla version. Then I've also added in a few retextures. So we've got Rally Solstheim, which retextures a whole bunch of stuff, and I think it looks really, really good. If you've tried this mod out, then you'll probably agree too. I've got the Soul Cairn 1K, the Sovngarde, Castle Volkar, Fort Dawnguard, Clever Chart's Forgotten Vale, and Orio's Sanctum. Then you've got the Skyhaven retexture by Clever Chart, which looks really, really good. I was originally going to use JK's interiors with this combination, but the amount of bugs that I do get is just not worth it, especially when you're looking for a stable, smooth vanilla plus load order. So instead, what I've done is use the Distinct Interiors AOI, and I was a bit skeptical to start with when using this mod, but after going through nearly all the places that you could possibly think of whilst I was testing, it's really, really good. And in terms of bugs, I haven't found one since actually starting this load order, and I'm roughly around 20 hours in playing this particular load order. So yeah, I would highly recommend this particular mod. Then just to complement the Distinct Interiors, I've added in Common Furniture retextures and the Noble retexture by El Sopa, just to make them look a lot more higher definition and cleaner. Next, we've got our Daedric Shrines replacer. This is an amazing mod. It's something that I believe should have been in the original game. The shrines are important waypoints within the province of Skyrim, so they should look exactly like the counterparts and exactly how these Daedric princes did look. So yeah, I have this in every single load order now. So next we've got a few Rin's mods, Rin's Standing Stones and the Rin's Last Vigil. So the Standing Stones just changes all the standing stones around Skyrim to more significant places, which they should be. And then the Last Vigil is really good. It gives the Ebony Warrior a actual home, very similar to probably a home that we've all created in the past, that showcases our achievements, showcases some of the different armors and the weapons that we've picked up along the way on our adventures. So it's very realistic, and I think it's a brilliant mod. So I've added in a few extra retexture mods, Rally City Roofs, which retextures the roofs mainly in Whiterun, Solitude and Riften. I love the Whiterun ones, so that's the main reason I added it. Then we've got the Elsopus HD hand-painted road signs, which are very realistic and lore-friendly, considering I don't think they would have done it many other ways in them particular times. Then I've also added in J Serpa's quest expansion bundle, which adds in expansions to the current quests, gives you a few more choices and extra dialogue, which I absolutely love. Obviously the next mod that we've got is alternate start, so we can start just about anywhere on the map, and in various different situations. And I've also added in new beginnings to complement that, because some of the new beginnings are a lot more challenging than the original alternate start, Live Another Life. So yeah, I've been using that, and you should really check it out if you haven't used it previously. Some of them are really funny, and some of them really do put you on the bones of your arse, basically. So yeah, I would definitely check that out. We've then got your own fort, so it changes the dialogue from you to I. It's just another immersive mod. We've also got the immersive speech dialogues and the realistic conversations, and also the immersive speechcraft. And this combination is a combination I've always used, just so you can speak to just about every NPC within the game, and to actually hold conversations and make it a lot more immersive during your playthrough. Then we've also got Heartfire's multiple adoptions, so you can adopt a whole bunch of kids for all the houses that you have across Skyrim. I've also got My Home Is Your Home, just because some of the NPCs that we do have in the game, i.e. Serana, can't actually live with you without a certain mod. But if you are using, like I am within this load order, as you'll soon find out, Marry Me Serana, then you can obviously get her to live with you. So the next mod that we have is Amazing Follower Tweaks, or you may know it as AFT. And what this does is increase the amount of followers that you can have. I have this within every playthrough, because the chances are you are going to be, for example, the leader of the Feast Guild, the leader of the Companions, and realistically, some of these people might actually want to come with you on your journey. Next, we have Adopt Almost Any Child, and I just think some people shouldn't have children within Skyrim, so that's one of the main reasons why I got this particular mod. Then we've got Marry Me Serrano, which obviously I mentioned previously in the video. Immersive Merchant, so it just makes it a lot more realistic that you can go up to a market stall, buy something without actually having to speak to the market stall owner. Then we've got the Cosmetic Vampire Overall, followed by Bijin Overalls and the Pandora Bull Overalls. And the main reason I've got the Cosmetic Vampire Overall is because with the other two overalls, it actually gives vampires a glitch face, so this actually sorts that out. Then we've got True Eyes SE with Fiery Vampire Eyes. Just makes the eyes a lot more high definition and makes the vampire eyes really pop and look really cool. Then I've added in the Serrano mod, which changes her whole look from her eyes to a scar across her face, her hair, fixes a whole bunch of bugs with her, especially the hair and hood bugs that you probably already know. And yeah, I think it's a really good look, and you would have seen this earlier within the video anyway. Finally, we've got a FPS mod, which is FPS Eternal, and I put this in every single one of my loaders to improve overall performance. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head into Skyrim, and I'm going to show you exactly how I set up my games so that you can have the exact same look for yourself. So here we are in Whiterun, and this is basically before I touch anything. It's boring and bland, and exactly nothing like how I do my setup. Now, every time I start the setup, I do the exact same things every single time. It's like a complete routine to me. The first thing that I do is head over to items and go to books and go to the RAS visual effects. I add on the visual effects initially, and this is things like the ash, frost, wetness, bubbles, cold. I add all of them to my playthrough because I want the most immersive playthrough that I can possibly have. Then I would typically sort out my violins, which is like the kill move mods, but because I'm only looking at the visual side of things at the moment for this part of the video, we'll skip that part and go straight to Busty Skeevers. So I will configure Busty Skeevers, and basically I don't do anything for the first menu. For the second menu, which is the adaptive camera, I turn it on and I put the crosshair to combat. Then I come back out of that, go to display skeevers, I just turn that on, and then I do the contrast fix and the shadow fix. Then I go over to the gameplay skeevers, and what I'll do here is just turn it on. Sometimes I use the head tracking, so I'm looking at a specific NPC when I'm speaking to them, which is more immersive. Then I've got the performance skeevers, so I turn this on and I just click on for Riften, Windhelm and Falkreath. And that's everything that you need to do with Busty Skeevers. Now what I will do is I will go over to Magic, to Powers, and the Cathedral Meditation to improve some of the views that we have around Skyrim. So first thing we're going to do is click on World View. Then we are going to click on Vivid, and we're going to click on it again and one more time, and then we're going to go over to Warm and click that twice, and we are done. Then the only thing else that I actually do is I go to the interior vision and I click on Darken, and that is it. That is the whole look for Skyrim, and it makes all the colours pop. It makes it feel like a fantasy adventure game, which it should be, and exactly the way it was designed to be. What I've done here is I've also showcased the interior so you can get a feel for with it having the darkened interior vision and also without the darkened interior vision. And that's the end of the video. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. And I'll see you soon.